episode 3 On End, The Wolf's Gray Fur Will Stand. Welcome back to Tiny Bunny. I am so excited to see if Byasha and Romka are still going to stay our friends after the fact that Simon is missing. We disappeared because I think we ran away or we left them. So we look suspicious, not to mention we have our glasses back, which we didn't have, so they might think we killed Simon. They also may not care considering they just kicked him and he was supposed to be their friend. But I don't know. But I'm diving in. I am too excited to wait any longer to see if we're really gonna stay friends. Ooh, diving in.
Это тот, который Бабурина ненавидел.
He's the one who hated Baburin.
Думаешь, это он сделал?
You think he did it?
Я слышала за странностями.
I've heard he's a weirdo. The warm farewells Romka and Byasha shouted at the back of fleeing Simon echoed inside my head.
Горло тебе перережу, слышишь?
I'll cut your throat, you hear?
Свинья!
Porky! Was Romka serious about his threats? Why didn't I think of this? What? Oh, how did I? This is the one thing I didn't think of. Of course, we would think that they killed him. Of course. Would he chase his former friend deep into the forest and then what? Kill him? Just like that? No, that can't be right. I hurriedly rubbed my glasses. The glasses! Simon was clutching them in his fist while trying to escape the barrage of kicks and slaps from his friends. Former friends by now. And in just a couple of hours, this lost item was lying on the ledge of my window. It was hard to imagine that Simon suddenly got a guilty conscience and returned my glasses in such a strange way. I was shocked, but kept walking toward the classroom, accompanied by nasty whispers all around me. That photo still stood before my eyes. Simon has gone missing. Simon is gone. His fat fingers will never get to my throat. His signet ring won't smash into my chin. He'll never humiliate me again. Wasn't that what I wished for? On the other hand, did I really wish Simon to become a murky stain on the notice board? He was still someone's son, or a grandson, and he went through the same struggles as me. Did I really wish for my unseen companion to dispatch him in such a brutal fashion? I didn't know the answer, or I was just scared of it. Nonetheless, school still had something nice about it. Polina, the girl with a violin, was like a mountain spring, like wet water that you gulp down, pressing your lips against the zinc outer ring of a bucket, and can't ever get enough. What if I make her one of the characters in the story I draw? The protagonist will save her from terrifying monsters. As soon as I thought of monsters, a bunch of my classmates slid down the rail smirking like the xenoforms from the Alien. I immediately felt a larvae of fear wreathe in my stomach. I didn't want to cross paths with Romka and Byasha after what happened yesterday, especially since Simon suddenly went missing. I really need to see their first interaction. I need to see it. I entered the classroom and went toward the last row. All of the chatter suddenly died down, so I walked there in complete silence. It felt like my classmates pushed and poked me with their stares. They carefully observed me every move. I stared at the desk with a huge pile of library textbooks on top. My fist clenched. It felt like I was the one who disappeared in that snowy forest, and my desk was finally used for something worthwhile. Simon's empty chair stood in front of me. The chair that once belonged to Vova gathered dust somewhere in another classroom. After a moment of hesitation, I sat down at Baburin's desk, the place where I was supposed to be assigned by Lilia Pavlovna at first. The chatter resumed as if someone just unpaused a movie.
Бабушка Бабурина такой кипиш устроила, когда он домой не явился.
Baburin's grandma made such a fuss when he didn't return home.
Сначала в школу прибежала, потом ментов вызвала.
First, she ran to the school, then called the cops.
Да-да-да.
Yes. Katya snuck a cunning glance at me, then leaned in to her neighbor and whispered something. Girls from the second row also leaned in. She shared something with them too. Whispers, nods. I kept catching her stare on myself. Her neighbor stared too. The whole class was watching me. It was like they felt the need to watch me because they were searching for traces of blood on my fingers. I wanted to defend myself and shout, "Guys, listen, I'm innocent!" Romka gave me a heavy, worried look. He was probably as stunned by Simon's disappearance as everyone else. But then he directed a stare straight at my face. The glasses! The glasses! Oh no! It felt like he was about to point his finger at me and shout at the top of his lungs. Everyone look! Baburin snatched his glasses yesterday, and now he has them back. Murderer! But he remained silent, as if there was nothing special at all about my glasses. I may be going mad, but I think Romka knows something. He knows something, but he won't tell me. But it was also possible he didn't care at all, just like everyone else. Then Romka shifted his eyebrows in suspicion and stared at Katya, as if informing her that he didn't believe a word she said. I wanted to believe that Romka would take my side. Please, please, that would be so interesting. And Byasha, who sat sprawled in his chair, with his chin pressed against the table too. But they were silent. A terrifying thought flashed in my mind. Those two could easily betray me, push me off the cliff, just like they did with Simon. As if looking for protection, I clutched the ruler until my hand hurt.
Не надо быть Коломбо, чтобы догадаться.
You don't have to be Columbo to solve this.
Кто на Бабурина зуб имел?
Who held a grudge against Baburin?
Кто его вчера ударил? Поиздевался, а после...
Who hit him yesterday, bullied him, and then... The metal roller fell out of my weak fingers. It hit the floor with a jingle, and that made the other kids shudder. Katya bit her tongue and squirmed nervously. Chairs scraped against the floor. My classmates moved away from me, closer to the exit, toward the teacher's desk. I was not the only one to catch wind of that change. Romka and Byasha looked around and winced in contempt. It's good that they were clearly on my side. Yay!
Да прикуси ты!
Shut it.
Бабурин, небось, с бабкой посрался и дымился.
I bet you Baburin just got a whipping from his old hag and ran off, eh?
Найдется.
They'll find him soon.
Найдется, ага.
They'll find him, all right.
Во враге, со
In a
вспоротым
ravine with the
брюхом.
stomach cut open. I gulped. I imagined Simon on a snowy blanket, his face, white like a fish belly, split down the middle by the crevice of his mouth, snowflakes falling on his glassy eyes and filling up his throat. See? I could almost hear his condescending tone. It's all your fault. Of course, Simon did me a favor by disappearing. Thanks to him, my classmates now stared at me in awe. But that was only one side of the coin. What if I'll have to repay that favor soon? The door creaked. Polina entered the classroom. I straightened up in a hurry, so she wouldn't see me looking like a scared critter. Polina found me with her eyes, gave me a short nod, and went to her seat. Katya rushed to her neighbors again like a lab rat that saw a treat, and started whispering, switching her gaze between me and Polina. Messages on pieces of paper started jumping around the classroom. The ringer's trill announced the start of class.
Так, заканчиваем бардак. Дети, встаньте.
All right, stop messing around. Class, stand up.
Петров, тебя это
You
тоже
too,
касается.
Petrov. Lilia Pavlovna went to her desk, followed by a policeman in a uniform. It was the man that visited us just recently. Tall, and his stare so sharp you could get cut on it.
Здрасте.
Hello there, kids.
Здравствуйте!
Садитесь.
You can sit down now, kids.
Познакомьтесь. Это старший лейтенант Константин Владимирович Тихонов.
This is Senior Lieutenant
Он
Tikhonov.
задаст вам несколько вопросов и проведет небольшую лекцию по безопасности.
He's going to ask you a couple of questions and give you a small PSA.
Лучше лекция от милиционера, чем уроки.
The class livened up. Talking to a policeman was way better than studying. I, on the other hand, was ready to sit through hundreds of hours of Russian literature just to escape the lieutenant's oppressive stare. Oh, the music. His brown eyes felt around the classroom, looking for me. Hair stood on the back of my neck, and an icicle had lodged in my gut.
А правда, что Бабурина маньяк убил?
Is it true that Baburin got killed by a serial killer?
Екатерина, ну-ка цыц. Вопросы здесь взрослые задают.
Shush, Katya. Let the adults ask questions here.
Просто нам всем страшно.
We're all scared.
Может, убийца бродит где-то рядом.
Maybe the killer is somewhere close.
Или сидит у нас за спиной.
Maybe they're even sitting among us. I still love that she, nonchalantly flips us off. Her sly stare was directed at me. Tikhonov stepped in between the rows of desks and started walking at an excruciatingly slow pace, brushing his fingers against the chairs he passed by. Some of the students almost broke their necks following his movements. That's how a crowd of commoners would gleefully anticipate a public execution in the Middle Ages. And he just walked, getting closer and closer to me. I gritted my teeth to stop myself from screaming. Calm down. Breathe. You didn't kill or kidnap anyone. He already knew the answer to his question, but the policeman still asked in a stern voice.
Петров Антон?
Да.
Yes.
Встань, Петров.
Stand up, Petrov. My muscles turned to stone. I got up, unglued myself from the chair. I felt like I could hear all my joints creak in the process. I only wish that Polina wouldn't turn around and see the grimace of horror on my face. If only I could be somewhere far away, in the forest, digging myself into a snow pile, rolling up into a ball there. The officer stared at me, as if he was about to lock a pair of handcuffs on my wrists. I wonder how cold these bracelets are to the touch. I imagine myself getting jailed and put into a juvenile detention center, where tens of Simons would constantly harass me.
Я ничего не знаю. Я тут ни при чем.
I don't know anything. I have nothing to do with this.
А тебя никто и не обвиняет.
Nobody is accusing you of anything.
Пока что.
For now. Only then I noticed a file that said case number in his hand. It had a gray cover made from rough carton. It flopped onto the desk like a guillotine blade that slid down on someone's neck. With a measured motion, Tikhonov opened the file, still studying me with his gaze. I caught a glimpse of documents and photos. They showed prints on the snow. They looked like animal prints.
Ты с Семеном Бабуриным общался?
Have you talked to Simon Babarin
Я
before?
знал его всего один день.
I only knew him for a day.
Все знают, Петров его ненавидел.
Everyone knows that Petrov hated him. I turned red. You ugly bitch. I wanted to sink my teeth into Katya's face and chew out her cheek. Instead, I replied with the calmest voice I could muster.
Мы повздорили вчера.
We had a fight yesterday,
Но он первый начал.
but he started it,
Я его ударил.
so I hit him.
Сильно?
How hard did you hit him?
Да нет, так.
Not hard, I mean... I waved my hand indecisively. Tikhonov looked at my fist as if he was surprised that I managed to hit the big kid from the photo. Surprisingly, Lilia Pavlovna came to my rescue.
Бабурин проблемный подросток. С шилом кое-где.
Baburin is a trouble teen, a true pain in the rear.
Сам ко всем лез.
Always picking fights with other kids. The officer replied with a meaningful nod and fished out a notebook out of the file.
Это твое?
Is this yours? I averted my gaze. It was a math notebook with my name on it. My classmates devoured me greedily with their eyes. Felt like even the writers on the portrait squinted at me in suspicion.
Мое.
Yes.
В лесу нашли.
We found it in the forest.
Там же тракторист, что снег убирал в последний раз, видел Бабурина.
In the area where the tractor driver who was plowing snow there last saw Baburin. Where the tractor driver last saw him. And now that we know the tractor driver was the one that did it, oh my gosh, that detail. That detail. Was that there the first time and I just completely overlooked it? I started blinking in bewilderment. Romka ransacked my school bag. This notebook probably just got lost somewhere in the bushes. The lieutenant knew about the school brawl, but was he aware of the fight in the forest clearing? I had witnesses that could testify to Simon and I walking in different directions after that. I looked toward the boys, hopeful. Romka, who sat behind Tikhonov, put a finger to his lips. So they're still not helping. And when the officer quickly turned around, he pretended to pick on his nose. I deciphered his signal. Boys like Romka would probably say something like, "Snitches get stitches," in a situation like this. I frantically fixed my glasses. Wait, Simon took them away yesterday, but now
Так
they're...
что ты делал вчера в лесу, Антон?
So what were you doing in the forest yesterday, Anton?
Я в школу через лес хожу.
I go to school through the forest.
Могла выпасть легко.
It could have easily fallen out of my bag. Easily, just like me producing this half-truth.
Будь осторожнее.
Be careful out there. Before I could realize whether it was a genuine piece of advice or a veiled threat, the teacher said,
Класс. А сейчас лейтенант расскажет о правилах, которые вам необходимо соблюдать.
"Class, the officer will now tell you about some rules you should follow."
Так маньяк все-таки есть.
So the killer does exist.
Пока мы ничего вам сказать не можем.
We can't make any of this public for now. Romka swayed in his chair and gave me a thumbs up. Attaboy. Good job keeping your trap shut. I nodded, even though I didn't feel a shred of pride from his phrase. Okay, so we're not enemies anymore. Okay, that's exciting. After all, he was the one who threw my notebooks and textbooks into the snow. He was the one ordering Simon, despite changing his allegiance later.
Но есть преступник или нет, вы должны четко помнить о собственной безопасности.
Whether the criminal really exists or not, you should be mindful of your safety.
Вас бережет милиция. Вас опекают родители и учителя. Но в первую очередь защищать себя должны вы сами.
The police, your parents, and your teachers all watch over you, but no one guards you better than yourself.
Итак,
All
кто
right.
там что хотел узнать?
All right, any questions? A stockade of arms rose from the desk. The kids shouted over each other, swarming the policemen with questions.
Пожалуйста. Охрану у школы выставят. Будет охрана.
Точно!
In an attempt to calm down the chorus, he moved toward the blackboard. The gray file was left lying in front of me. I stared at it, my breathing so ragged that it might have looked like someone who just ran a 100-meter sprint. Beads of sweat rolled down my back. I looked around the classroom. My classmates were catching the officer's every word. Only Romka was saying something to Byasha. Lilia Pavlovna was staring into the window, fighting back yawns. Hey, don't do it yet.
Комендантский час, причин пока нет. Слишком мало времени прошло с момента исчезновения вашего одноклассника. Мы все уверены, что он найдется живым и здоровым.
Aha! Nobody paid me any mind, so I slowly opened the file. My fingers started sifting through the documents. Ksenia, 6 years old, left her home sometime in December. Identifying features, okay. My heart almost jumped out from my ribcage. A round-faced girl no older than Alya smiled at me from the photo. The first victim of a serial killer. The first child to disappear in the forest, without a trace. I turned another page. Vova, 10 years old. His mitten hanging from the branch. His name called out by desperate adults and repeated by the sneering echo. Lilia Pavlovna coughed, trying to calm down the rowdy students. I yanked my hand away and the file closed.
Поговорим о диких животных. Как известно, в наших лицах водятся волки, медведи, лисы. Людей они боятся и близко не подходят. Но бывают животные бешеные. Не бегите и не делайте резких движений. Если лиса крадется к вам, попытайтесь запрыгнуть.
Whew, okay. The officer turned his back to the class and started writing on the blackboard with a piece of chalk, producing nasty screeching sounds. Strangers.
В деревне почти все друг друга знают в лицо.
Almost everybody knows each other in the village, so the outsiders normally stand out.
Увидев незнакомца,
If you see a stranger. The officer started squeaking with a piece of chalk again, and I, after making sure nobody was watching, opened the file and took out the photos that were hidden at the bottom. The artery-like roots, stumps and charred pines cut down by lightning. And snow, lots of snow. Then, a black building that immediately gave me the chills. Yet it wasn't a crypt. It was a garage. A box made from steel standing amidst the thicket, judging by the trees all around it. Those black gates were almost sucking me in. I've already encountered this metal container that travels around the local area. Just yesterday, in fact. First, Romka told me about it. He said that the black garage was the culprit behind children going missing, as if it was a living being. And then I met with this abyss-colored building face to face in the middle of the thick forest. And the fox girl told me that Vova was hiding there. My fingers trembled, and the photo glided through the air back into the file. Thank God it landed upside down. That still box was too unsettling to look at. There was also a plastic bag at the bottom of the file, the type used to store evidence. I opened it, and inside it was a severed finger. I blinked, and the mirage dissolved. I couldn't see a cut-off body part. There was only a signet ring inside. Stunned by that fleeting hallucination, I almost felt like I was transported back to the forest and heard Simon's words.
Ща, парашник, я тебе этой печаткой так заряжу.
I'll hit your faggot face so fucking hard. The ring was giving off a faint glow on top of my palm. I panicked and squeezed the evidence on my fist, as if trying to assure myself it was real. Jeez. I clinked my teeth from surprise, pushed myself into the back of my chair, blinking in bewilderment. The officer silently gathered the documents and gave me a stern look.
Больно ты любопытный, Петров.
Well, aren't you a curious boy, Petrov? I tried my best to squeeze out an apology and return the ring, but I only managed to hold out a clenched fist with the ring inside and started rumbling like Dad's car engine when it started to get cold.
Как говорится,
You know what they say.
меньше знаешь, крепче
Ignorance is
спишь.
bliss.
Вот.
Here. He went toward the blackboard without looking back, while I was still clenching the stolen piece of evidence, thinking about Simon, a boy that was already most likely dead.
И еще раз.
Let me say this again. All right, let me save. This is the part where it's gonna ask if we want to, like, turn him in or not. And I'm curious if I'll be able to draw a picture of the man on the tractor driver. But if I can't, then I need to be able to go back so I don't piss off, you know, Romka and Byasha.
Если вы заметите в поселке кого-то подозрительного, неважно, возле школы или на лесной тропинке, сразу сообщайте в милицию.
If you see anyone suspicious in the village, be it near the school or on the forest trail, contact the police immediately.
Телефон-то знаете?
You know our number, right?
Спасибо, ребята.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls.
Спасибо, Лилия Павловна.
Thank you, Lilia Pavlovna.
И это,
And we'll find your
одноклассника
classmate.
вашего.
Yeah, right, a thought flashed through my mind. Dig through enough ditches and maybe you'll be able to piece them together, like Legos. My thoughts turned evil for some reason, and I couldn't control them. I tried to switch to the lieutenant's speech about suspicious individuals. What if I saw the killer before? What if I was a hair's breadth away from them? Suspicious people. How suspicious was the fox girl that wandered in the darkness? A weirdo that always appears out of nowhere and then dissolves into thin air with her riddles and rhymes. Could she really harm the hulking Simon? Should I tell the officer about her? What if lives of other kids depend on this? Of the cute Ksenia and Vova too? Wait, what if I get mocked for speaking out? What if they'll start whispering behind my back? Or what's even worse, think that I'm insane? Romka gave me a stern look over the shoulder. I doubt someone like him would approve of cooperating with the police. Katya's braid dangled nervously behind the delinquent sitting in front of me. My hand was
До
glued to the
свидания,
desk.
лейтенант.
Takhanov was saying goodbye to Lilia Pavlovna. He was about to leave. It'll be too late soon. Stay silent or tell him. Okay, let's see what happens if we tell him. I unglued my palm from the tabletop. I need to warn him, at the very least for Alya's sake, to assure his safety in the house near the squeaky pines. I raised my hand, heavy as a dumbbell.
Простите.
Excuse me? Oh, everyone's looking at me. Almost 24 heads turned to my way. My teacher, the officer, Polina. Katya shoved an elbow into her friend's side. Sleepy Byasha stretched out his neck. Romka frowned inquiringly.
Я слушаю.
I'm listening. It felt like I was being studied under a microscope.
Вчера утром по дороге в школу я видел незнакомого человека.
Yesterday, when I was walking to school in the morning, I saw an unfamiliar person. My classmates started whispering. Takhanov frowned, a deep wrinkle adorning the space between his eyebrows.
Да откуда ему знать, чужак это или кто-то из местных?
There's no way an outsider would be able to tell if it was an outsider or a local.
Он же в поселке без году неделя.
He just moved to our village. The other kid smirked. Katya flashed an evil smile.
Спокойствие.
Calm down.
Антон, а сможешь детальнее описать?
Can you describe them in more detail, Anton? Then it dawned on me. I can do more than describe them. I can draw them.
Я рисую немного.
I know how to draw, kind of. After spitting out this confession, I expected everybody to laugh, but that didn't happen. Even Katya stayed silent. Polina tilted her head and studied me with an intrigued look on her face. I was pleased by this wave of attention. It made me feel bolder, so I asked,
Нарисовать?
"Do you want me to?" Takhanov slowly
Лилия
nodded.
Павловна, мы тут проведем следственный эксперимент. А?
Lilia Pavlovna, we'll conduct a bit of an experiment here, all right?
Пожалуйста, пожалуйста.
Of course, of course. I took out a pen, flattened out a sheet of paper. My classmates stared at me in anticipation. Polina smiled, and it was the best reward I could get for my
Ну
boldness.
что, Ван Гог, рисуй.
Well, go on, Van Gogh, draw. All right, let's see. Is it that? Oh my gosh, I can. I can draw him. Is that what he looks like? That's what he looks like, right? I feel like it's that one. No, it's that one. He had a band-aid on his nose. He had a band-aid on his nose. I think that's it. Ah! It's one of these two, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm going with this one.
Вот, пожалуйста.
Here. I handed the drawing to the officer.
И кто это, по-твоему?
Who might that be?
Лилия Павловна, не узнаете? Случаем не ваш трудовик?
Do you you recognize this person, Lilia Pavlovna? Is this by any chance your arts and crafts teacher? My homeroom teacher squinted, trying to have a close look at my drawing.
Какая отвратительная рожа.
What a nasty mug.
Да это батя Петрова.
This must be Petrov's old man. Romka stopped Byasha's thunderous laughter with such a heavy slap across the back of the head that it made him bite his tongue. It felt like windows shuttered from all the surrounding laughter.
А ну, цыц!
Lilia Pavlovna hissed at the class, and the commotion died down. But I was already burning at the stake
Все
of shame.
ясно. Что тут еще скажешь?
Case closed, class, I guess. Took on a fold of my drawing and threw it into the
No.
folder.
Занимайтесь.
Well, I'll be going. He left. Okay, so maybe it was the other face. Let me go back. All right, let's try it. There it is, the massive, cold, chiseled face. Squint in his eyes, sharp like a blade. I hesitated before handing my drawing to the officer.
Вот, примерно так.
He looked something like this.
Примерно?
Something like this.
Да ведь он один в один тот тип.
No, he looks exactly like our person of interest.
Так вы его тоже видели?
So you saw him too?
Зайчью губу. Видел недавно возле поселка.
The hair-lipped man? Yes, I saw him near the village.
Думал, он проездом. Давно подался дальше гастролировать.
I thought he was just driving through and continued his journey a long time
Он
ago.
выходит здесь, отирается.
Well, apparently he's still snooping around here.
Еще он рядом со школой стоял и в лесу вечером.
I also saw him standing near the school and inside the forest during the evening. Tikhonov looked at me as if he saw me for the first time.
Ну, пацан. Ну, молодец. Уже хоть какая-то зацепка.
Okay. I'm glad I tried that, and I'm glad I tried again. Okay, not to toot my own horn, but toot-toot. What a lad. We have a lead, thanks to you now. He slapped my shoulder and went toward the door. Then he stopped and called out to me.
Талантливый ты парень.
You're a talented boy.
Тебя в Академию художеств с руками оторвут.
They'd kill to have someone like you at the Academy of Arts. He left. Okay, I'm gonna save in case, like, I don't know. Just in case. The bell rang. Lilia Pavlovna marched past, giving me a curious look. My classmates went silent as if somebody lowered their volume using a remote. They followed me with their eyes. The whole time I was passing between the rows. But something had changed about their gazes. Even Katya was different now. I remembered vividly how my dad once stood up for a war vet during a bus ride, subduing a bunch of drunkards. The other passengers back then had the same looks, the look of respect. After going to the restroom and washing my face in cold water, I returned to the classroom. But as soon as I stepped through the doorway, somebody called my name in a cheerful voice. It was the girl sitting next to Katya. What? She smiled and offered me a Skittles candy.
Спасибо.
I mumbled words of gratitude in reply and accidentally swallowed the small candy as if it was one of Mom's pills. A happy shout came from the side.
Антон, а меня нарисуешь?
Can you draw me, Anton?
Антон, и меня! Можно я?
Me too! Draw me! The shouts were coming from all directions now, so I pushed my back to the atlas hanging on the wall, embarrassed.
А ты сам научился?
Did you learn to draw by yourself?
Можешь Ван Дамма нарисовать. Я дома как плакат повешу.
Can you draw Van Damme? I'll hang it in my room as a poster.
Эй, я вообще-то первая спросила.
Hey, I was the first to ask him. Katya slithered up to me like a venomous snake, inserting herself between me and my classmates.
Антон меня уже обещал нарисовать по дружбе.
Anton has already promised to draw me as a sign of friendship.
Да-да-да.
Yes.
Правда же, Антон?
Tell them, Anton. Yeah, right, a thought flashed through my mind. As soon as I showed some promise, Katya immediately decided to befriend me.
Прости, но я уже обещал другой.
Sorry, but I already promised someone else. I saw Katya's face contort slightly, but she didn't say anything back. You were mean to us. Why would we do that for you? I rushed to squeeze myself through the laughing classmates looking for Polina. But instead, I stumbled into my new buddies. Romka and Byasha were waiting for me at the notice board.
Я в тебе не ошибся, Тошик.
I was right about you, Toshik.
Пацан! Не спалил, как мы чуть было свинью не забили.
Attaboy, you didn't rat us out. You know us roughing up Porky.
Это повело бы милицию по ложному следу.
This would have given the police a false lead,
Наверное.
I think.
А вы точно не имеете отношения к исчезновению Семёна?
Are you sure you have nothing to do with poor Simon's disappearance?
Мы-то нет, а вот ты.
No, what about you?
Помнишь, как срулила от нас в потемках?
Remember how you bailed on us in the darkness?
Ага, я так и говорю. Очкарик, дверь!
Yeah, I was like, this four-eyed is a beast.
Тебя жирного нагонит и кокнет на!
We'll catch up with the fatso and end him, eh?
Базаришь.
What he said.
Однако мы тебе верим, а ты нам?
But we believe you. Works both ways, right? Romka's stern look made me uncomfortable, so I nodded.
Вот ты славно.
Good to hear.
Это, Антон, а где ты так классно рисовать научился?
Hey, Anton, where did you learn to draw so cool? I got flustered, but tried not to show it. I picked at the floor with my boot
Да
instead.
так. У меня с детства хорошо получалось.
Well, you know, I could just do it since I was little.
Круто! Я вот тоже художник.
Cool shit. I'm also, you know, an artist.
Паяльником по дереву выжигаю.
Can burn pictures into wood with the soldering tool, eh?
Вон мамке на день рождения тюльпан замутил на разделочной доске.
Burnt a tulip for my old woman's birthday on her cutting board.
В общем, здорово, что мы с тобой познакомились.
I mean, it's cool that we know each other.
Только давайте не будем обниматься на радостях.
Look, don't get all cuddly here, okay? He's looking at him like, chill, dude. Romka lowered his voice and looked around the corridor in suspicion. The other kids were stealing glances at us, whispering.
Что ж, Сёма пропал, это правда.
So, Simon is missing, that's a fact.
Как и факт, что не просто пропал, а скорее всего уже сдох.
Not just missing, but most likely already dead. Byasha shuddered.
А ты почем знаешь?
How do you know that?
Так
Because
мы за это уже терли. Здесь такие случаи не впервой.
we already talked about this. It's not the first time this has happened.
Думаешь, Сенечка, Вова этот и Сёма в Нарнию попали? Посидят в лесу с карамелькой за щекой и назад пришлепают.
And they'll return from the forest after hanging out there sucking on some candy.
Ясно же, кто их к себе
It's clear who
прибрал.
got them.
Неужели черный?
Can it be the black?
Маничела!
The serial killer?
Бля, буду пацаны! Это все местная Чикатило.
Sure as fuck, guys. It's a local Chikatilo, eh?
Мне дядька с маминой работы рассказывал, он тоже заячью губу в поселке видел.
An old man from mom's work told me that he also saw the hair lip in the village.
Вычислить бы еще, кто он такой.
If only we could find out who he is.
Ну, если этот убийца Бабурина завалил, он и по нашу душу явится, отвечаю.
Well, if the killer off Baburin, he'll come after us too.
Слушайте, пока Тихонов лекцию читал, я в его папку тайком заглянул.
Listen, while Tikhanov was giving his lecture, I snuck a peek at his files. Byasha whistled.
Там лежало кое-что. Печатка.
There was an item in there, a signet ring.
Именно печатка.
The one
Я её
Simon
того
wore, and
прихватил.
I snatched it.
Да ладно! А ну, Закес!
No way. Show us. I looked around like a thief, then carefully took out the stolen ring.
Так я и думал, на! Маньетела!
Just like I thought, eh? The killer got him.
На части нас разрезат!
He'll cut us to pieces, too. Rama wasn't impressed by that information. He just nodded, looking grim.
А еще там фотография была. С гаражом. Черным.
There was also a photo with the garage, a black one. Byasha looked like he was punched in the gut. He staggered and hid his face in his hands.
Фу, бляха!
Romka rolled his eyes and swore.
Опять 25.
Not this again.
Ну, спокойно, братан.
I'm down,
Спокойно.
bro. Chill.
Бяша, ты же встречал черный гараж раньше, так?
Byasha, you've counted the black garage before, right?
Рома говорил, ты даже заглянул в него.
Rama said you even took a look inside. The Barat kid started shaking all over, as if he was thrown outside naked in the middle of winter, and every new question was like a bucket of cold water on top of that.
Что ты там видел?
What did you see there? Romka shielded his friend with his chest, clearly upset by my interrogation.
Забудь. Ничего он тебе толком не скажет.
Forget it. He won't say shit now.
Бяши каждый раз мозг на бекрень сворачивает, только коснись этой темы.
Byasha's brain breaks every time someone mentions this.
Коль ты теперь с нами, я тебе в первый, в последний раз рассказываю.
Since you're with us now, I'll tell you this once. Romka leaned in like we were some sort of co-conspirators. Winston discussed as if reluctant to relieve the memory, and spoke in a whisper.
Осенью мы с пацанами от нефиг делать черной магией баловались. Хотели, как обычно, призвать пиковую даму там или над духом Пушкина постебаться. То да сё.
We were bored as hell last autumn, so we decided to play with black magic. You know, summoning the Queen of Spades, or making fun of Pushkin's spirit, the usual stuff.
А вышло, брат, совсем не весело.
But the result wasn't fun at all, bro.
Один старый чудило рассказал, что мы можем призвать настоящего духа, если нарушим один строжайший запрет предков.
One old loon told us that we might summon a real ghost if we break the one great taboo of our parents.
А я ведь сразу просек, что он ёбнутый.
Shit, I already knew he was bonkers back then.
Всего-то надо было пойти за гаражи глубокой ночью.
We only needed to go behind that row of garages late at night.
Постучать в
And knock on
самый-самый
the fucking
черный,
black
как ему
one.
явится эта черная параша, и всех детей заберет в лучший из миров.
That would make some black shit
Охереть не
appear.
встать.
Take all the kids into a better world. What a fucking story.
Вот мы по приколу и
So
клюнули.
we decided to take the bait as a joke. Byasha wrapped his hand around his head and let out a lengthy bleat.
А когда Бяша тест на пацана проходил, то должен был в этот гараж постучать. Но эта хитрая морда просто туда заглянул.
And when Byasha was doing the bravery test, he needed to knock on that garage, but the bastard took a peek inside instead.
И правильно сделал.
Maybe it was the right thing to do.
Он от ужаса тогда так заорал, что слезы брызнули.
He screamed so hard, tears sprayed from his eyes.
Отвечаю, я такой истерики отродясь не видел.
I'll tell you, I've never seen somebody this hysterical.
И явно там не обещанная
Clearly inside
райская
of it
пуща
wasn't
была.
the promised land.
С тех пор черный гараж по нашим закоулкам
Since that day, the
шарится.
black garage
и
has been
нормальных
snooping around our
пацанов
alleyways,
жрет.
gobbling up good fellas.
Что же делать?
What do we do now?
Вместе держаться, вот что. Втроем мы, как Вольтрон.
Stay together, that's what. The three of us, like Voltron. Byasha, who suddenly woke up from a shock, mumbled,
Это...
Um,
В Вольтроне их 5 было на.
there were 5 of them in Voltron, eh?
Ну, считай, мы покалеченный Вольтрон.
Well, we're an injured Voltron then. He looked at me with an adult gaze and nodded. His eyes were full of worry and sadness.
Ладно, раз Сёмы больше нет, айда с нами.
Whatever, since Simon is no longer with us, let's go.
Дело одно есть. Постоишь для вида, покараулишь. Тебя,
We have a
кажется,
job
уже
to do.
боятся
You keep
все.
watch for us. Everybody seems to be scared shitless of you. Scared shitless of me? While I still couldn't wrap all that around my head, their attitude softened me up and I agreed on the spot. I followed Romka and Byasha through the twilight corridors of our school, savoring my newfound brazenness. We walked pompously like heroes of some criminal drama, as if 3 of us had access to some knowledge hidden from everybody else. I'm not sure I would have gone with them if they told me what the goal of our campaign was. We hid in the darkness near the school gym. My companions started rubbing their knuckles, watching boys leave the dressing room. Finally, Byasha pointed at someone inside the crowd.
Вон этот лох!
Here's the sucker! Romka smiled dangerously and proclaimed in a low voice,
Стой на стрёме, и если кто из училок объявится, дай знать.
Keep watch. If you see a teacher, let us know.
Гляди в 4 глаза на.
Watch with all 4 eyes, eh?
Давай, давай.
I stood at the corner, filled with conflicting feelings and thoughts.
Ничего я не должен.
Ты чё, не понял?
Poor kid. In the cul-de-sac behind me, Romka was having a back and forth with some 5th
Может,
grader.
тебя на счетчик поставить, а? Ушлепок майонезный.
The boy was protesting on the verge of tears, but Romka stood his ground, spewing countless obscenities at him, with Byasha occasionally adding a couple of words of his own.
Ушлепок на.
Would Dad praise me for involving myself with this?
Всё, вали давай.
All right, now scram. My new friends came out of the cul-de-sac. A light bulb illuminated the camera in Romka's hand.
Ого, полароид. Он твой?
Wow, a Polaroid? Is it yours? Romka shook the black electronics marvel with a retractable flash, disinterested.
Теперь мой.
It is now.
Мне тут один должник велик торчал за свой гнилой базар.
There was this guy who owed me a bike for talking shit.
Но, говорит, нет у него
Turned out he didn't
велосипеда.
have one,
Вот и расплатился фотиком.
so he paid with the cam.
А мне он, честно
And
говоря,
I have
хер
jack
не
shit
снится.
use for it. I felt bad for that boy, but all the negative thoughts disappeared when I looked at the treasured camera. I could clearly imagine how happy Olya would be with this Polaroid. I imagined myself taking pictures of my sister, dad, and mom. The faces of my family would gradually appear on the hard paper as if emerging from the dissolving mist. I'd take pictures of Polina too. That would be sure to get her a photo for myself. I'd keep it in my desk under lock and
Раз он
key.
тебе не нужен, можешь мне его отдать?
If you don't need it, can I get it? Roma measured me with a sharp glare, turning into the Romka I'd met yesterday. The callous leader of a carnivorous pack.
Ты извини, братан, но я вещами просто так не разбрасываюсь.
Sorry, bro, but I don't throw things away like that.
Могу в ломбард загнать, ну или разыграть во что-нибудь.
I could drop it at a pawn shop or bet it on some game. For some reason, as soon as he mentioned a game, I remembered Alyssa. I looked at the
Ну давай с
Polaroid.
тобой на него сыграю. Только во что?
Well, let's play for it then. Do you have a game in mind? Byasha snickered into his fist.
Чаром! Снимем с нашего Антовки последние штаны.
Yo, Romka, shall we make Antosha lose his shirt?
Я тебя чё, пидор, с пацанов штаны снимать?
Do I look like someone who'd strip another dude for you? Romka stared at me from above.
На что играть собрался?
What do you have to bet?
У тебя хоть бабки есть?
Do you even have cash?
Во-во! Свети карманы, Тосик!
That's right. What's in your pockets, Toshik? I slowly turned the pockets of my pants inside out in vain hopes of salvaging at least some change from my lunch money. Something rustled in my pocket. I fished out the Mercedes-Benz insert I got thanks to Alyssa. I guess I shoved it there without thinking when it flew out of my school bag with all the
А на
notebooks.
вкладыши играете?
Will you play for this insert? Bayasha's eyes almost popped out of their sockets as soon as I brought the card's picture closer. But Romka didn't move a muscle.
Хочешь, чтобы я целый фотик за какой-то там фантик отдал?
Want me to bet a whole cam for some insert?
Это за...
That's...
Да жвачки это рубль цена, а в полароиде кассета еще целая.
The gum is worth one rebel, and this Polaroid has a fresh cartridge inside.
Да это да!
Look, that's...
Ой, у меня таких вкладышей жопой жуй, на кой мне еще?
I have a shit ton of inserts like that. Why would I want...
Мерседес-Бенц, на! Его-то нам и не хватало, Ромыч!
Mercedes-Benz, eh? The one we're still missing, Romka?
Фу, блин.
Romka spit on the ground and slapped Byasha over the back of the
Ну ты и
head.
трепло, братка. Теперь он за него цену до небес взвинтит.
Why can't you keep your mouth shut, eh? Now I'll jack up the price. Just like I suspected, this automobile was a valuable addition for every Turbo Gym collector.
Ага, значит, появился интерес.
Aha, so this caught your eye after
Так, ну
all.
что будем играть?
What are we gonna play?
Подкидного!
В ножички?
In the blink of an eye, a greasy deck of most likely marked cards appeared in Byasha's hands, and Romka masterfully swung his butterfly knife like in front of my nose. I feel like I need to save, in case I lose. Something tells me I'm gonna actually have to play. I had no desire to play
А
by the
давайте в
rules.
камень-ножницы.
Let's play rock, paper, scissors.
О, а ты у нас любишь рисковать.
Ah, I see you're a gambler.
Ну что, мой полароид против твоего Мерса?
All right, my Polaroid against your Mercedes? I know how to play rock, paper, scissors. Okay.
По рукам.
Deal. Ooh, let's do paper. Let's do scissors.
Есть!
Okay. I raised my fist toward the ceiling in
Стопэ,
triumph.
стопэ. У нас принято до 3 побед играть.
The best out of 5? That's crazy.
А раньше сказать.
Why didn't you say that earlier? Because you thought he was gonna win.
Ты думал, все так просто будет, на?
You think it'd be that easy, eh?
Не пойму, чё ты хмуришься так? Один раз уже выиграл, преимущество на твоей стороне.
What's with the pouty face? You already have the advantage here.
Давай-ка продолжим.
Let's
Раз,
continue.
два, три!
1, 2, 3. Scissors? Wait. I got 2. Okay. Rock. Nobody. Paper? Scissors? I've got 3. I've got 3! I looked at my opponent with suspicion.
Ну, я выиграл. Или теперь мне нужно еще и Бяшу обыграть?
So, do I win now, or do I need to beat Byasha too? Romka mumbled something under his breath. He'd probably refuse to play by the rules, and I'll be left with nothing.
Эй, Ромыч, все по чесноку, на!
Hey, Romka, you won fair and square, eh? Humble in victory. You won in rock, paper, scissors. Hey, we got an achievement for that. That's awesome. Romka reluctantly gave up.
Везучий ты, сука. Держи.
You're one lucky bastard here.
Только писюн свой не фоткай.
Just don't take pictures of your wiener, eh? I weighed the polo light on my palms and realized that I was smirking like a true winner. It's been 7 days since the lieutenant visited our class. At first glance, everything was still the same. The forest still held out its gnarly claws toward the village, and the wind whipped up white flags weaved from the powdery snow every night. When my parents argued in the other room, I would turn up the TV's volume to silence their muffled voices and sit close to Alya. Vova's and Simon's photos were still 2 black spots on the notice board, and round-faced Simon hasn't returned home. But something did change. I could see how different the looks of my classmates were. They made my pockets bulge with gifted apples. Their animosity was gone. School wasn't scary anymore. But most importantly, a shadow slid across my desk, leaving behind a mysterious note. I glanced into the space between rows, but the messenger was already nowhere to be found. Who sent me this note? What could this carefully ripped out and neatly folded piece of paper be hiding from me? More threats and humiliation? Or... I took the piece of paper and carefully inhaled the wafting aroma. Blackberry. Inside was a message in beautiful handwriting. I'm waiting at a dead end near the dressing room. Come alone. Drunk on that sudden call, I immediately started walking, looking over my shoulder from time to time, making sure nobody is following me. I didn't even notice how I almost broke into a run and jumped around the corner. As soon as I did, I rammed into somebody inside the dark nook.
Ой!
Like a magic bird, a great notebook glided to my feet. Polina puffed her cheeks in an exaggerated anger.
Петров! Да ты совсем зрение потерял.
Petrov, have you lost your sight completely? I fixed my glasses. My nearsightedness wasn't that embarrassing anymore. I bent down and picked up the notebook.
Прости, я так торопился. Ты меня ждала? Что случилось?
Sorry, I was in a rush. Were you waiting for me? Did something happen? Polina studied me with her eyes and clicked her tongue.
А знаешь, на что ты похож, Антоша?
Do you know what you look like, Antosha?
На блюзовую импровизацию.
Like blues improv. I blinked in bewilderment.
Это как?
What do you mean?
Для меня все люди с чем-то ассоциируются.
I always associate people I know with something.
И для меня. Но не с музыкой же.
I do that too, but why music?
Вот как раз с музыкой.
It can't be anything other than music.
Бывают люди гитарные соло. Или барабанный бой. Или военный марш, как наша Лилия Павловна.
Some people are like guitar solos, some are drums. People like our Lilia Pavlovna are war marches.
А ты такой задумчивый, таинственный. Иногда немного
And you're so
печальный.
thoughtful, so mysterious, sometimes even a bit sad.
Ты точно блюз.
You're definitely blues.
А почему импровизация?
What about the improv part?
А это когда слушатель не догадывается, куда свернет мелодия, какой темп возьмет.
It's when the listener has no idea where the melody will go, what tempo it will adopt. Of course, some of the things Polina said went completely over my head, but I couldn't stop looking at her smile. Light like a breeze in May, and her eyes deep blue.
Чтобы распознать в тебе музыку, нужен опыт и вкус.
One needs to have experience and taste to recognize the music in you.
Это не какая-то там эстрада.
You're not some pop music.
Я, наверное, вообще не знаю, что такое этот блюз.
I don't think I even know what blues is. Polina gasped and frowned, which made her look even more beautiful.
Не произноси при мне такие слова. Я тебе обязательно дам кассету.
Don't say something like that to my face. I'll make sure to give you a cassette.
Раньше мне дедушка из города столько музыки привозил. И джаз, и свинг, и классику.
Grandpa used to bring me so much music from the city. Jazz, swing, and classical too.
Это он подметил, что у меня склад ума, как у музыканта.
He was the one to notice my musical mindset.
Я еще совсем маленькой пыталась на бумаге записать звуки природы.
When
Пение
I was very
дождя,
little, I tried recording the
леса.
sounds of nature on paper. The songs of the rain and the forest.
Эх, мне бы твои уши.
I wish I had ears like yours.
А мне бы твои глаза.
And I'd love to have your eyes. I tensed up, worried she was making fun of me, but Polina shook her head.
Да-да, я серьезно. У тебя глаза художника.
No, I'm serious. You have the eyes of an artist.
Смотришь на вещи и фиксируешь их. Я так не умею.
You're so good at picturing things, I can't do that. Oh, here comes Katya. Katya walked past us with her trademark frosty glare. We dove into the shadows, trying to escape it.
Теперь понимаешь, почему мы тут прячемся? Вот из-за таких, как она.
You understand why we're hiding, right? Because of people like her.
А Катька какая мелодия.
What kind of melody is Katya? Polina flashed me a sly smile.
Скрип несмазанных дверных петель.
Squeaking of some unoiled door hinges.
Знаешь, такой мерзкий дискант.
You know, this nasty discount. I giggled, covering my mouth. Katya didn't hear our whispers, but she suddenly glanced over her shoulder, clearly annoyed. A moment later, she sighed and went on her way. I remembered about the notebook I was still clutching in my hand. I turned it in my hands. Instead of a subject name, the front side had the name of the owner in 2 words, friends only. I wonder who we're going to say our friend is this time. Would it be Alyssa? Would it still be Alya? Or would it be Romka or Byasha?
Любопытной Варваре кое-что оторвали.
Curiosity killed the cat, you know.
Прости, это анкета?
I'm sorry, is this a questionnaire?
Заполнял когда-нибудь?
Have you ever filled one out?
М,
I lied that I had. In reality, girl classmates from my previous school had never asked me to fill their questionnaires. It was quite upsetting. I mean, it was a girl hobby. You just answer a set of standard questions about your favorite actors and colors, but entrusting someone with such a notebook was a sign of friendship. And maybe of something even more. Something I only had a vague idea about.
Хочешь, заполни мою?
You can fill mine out if you want. My heartbeat quickened.
Хочу, спасибо.
I do, thank you. Polina giggled.
А хотя... Там же столько секретов.
Actually, there are so many secrets there.
Наверное, лучше тебе не знать, о чем мы, девочки,
You're better off
думаем.
not knowing what us girls think. She reached for the notebook, playing with me. I tossed my finding into my free hand. Polina tried to intercept my move. Her hair briefly touched my face, tickling my nose with its silky locks. I sensed an aroma that immediately filled the whole world. Fragrant, alluring, lively. If only I could picture it, steal it for myself. I felt dizzy, but I gathered myself and spoke in a voice reminiscent of Lieutenant Tikhonov.
Ваша анкета является важнейшей уликой, и я вынужден временно изъять ее для изучения.
Your questionnaire is an important piece of evidence, so I'm afraid I have to confiscate it for further examination. Polina covered her mouth that rounded in fake horror.
И что мне грозит за сокрытие улик?
And what are the implications of concealing evidence?
Следствие покажет.
We'll decide that in the course of our investigation.
Сдаюсь, товарищ милиционер.
I surrender, Mr. Policeman.
Только обещайте ничего не читать.
Just promise you won't read anything.
Здесь содержатся секретные сведения.
It's full of sensitive information.
Боюсь, что мне все-таки придется выяснить, не влюблен ли кто в гражданина Петрова.
I'm afraid I'll have to investigate whether someone is in love with Mr. Petrov. Polina burst out laughing and pressed herself against my chest, showering me with the aroma of her hair and her milky skin that looked almost transparent, with tiny threads of veins running under it. Her whisper was hot, like a piece of butter sizzling on a pan.
Тогда поклянитесь, что не станете разглашать информацию.
Then swear that you will keep this information private.
Честная милицейская.
I swear on my police badge.
А теперь, Антоша, самое время поторопиться.
And now we need to hurry, Antosha. I took up the notebook during class, with utmost care, as if it was some sort of fragile treasure. Skimmed through it, reading into other people's preferences. I was quite surprised to discover Romka's jerky handwriting inside. His letters bulged out of the cells, as if embarrassed by their shapelessness. Fearsome Romka found time for something so silly? I chuckled into my fist after I found out that Romka's favorite cartoon is not even Darkwing Duck, but DuckTales. Somewhere in the distance, a teacher was reciting pieces of Indrive Snapper. I paid them no mind. Polina's page was decorated with flower drawings and clippings from the Cool Girl magazine. Her favorite musician is Schubert. Her best friend is her grandpa. Her hobby is not violin like I expected, but a much more mysterious listening. Can such a mundane process really be someone's hobby? I looked at Polina over the heads of other students. She was focused on taking notes. I flipped the pages until I found a blank one and armed myself with a pen. Anton Petrov, Class 6B. I took a long time to decide on my favorite musician until a trendy pop band, Carman, came to mind with the cool dancers in their music videos. Favorite holiday? That one's easy, New Year's. My hobby is drawing. My dream, going to Disneyland, I guess. My hero. My hand moved on its own, writing Da. I stopped on those 2 letters. What if those who read this after me will find my answer laughable and stupid? After thinking for a bit, I decided not everything should be disclosed on paper. That's how Da turned into Spy Dar Man. The spelling was wrong, but who cares? Your biggest fear. I immediately wrote losing a person who's dear to me. Your phone number. No secret here. Your favorite cartoon. Transformers. Your best friend. I hesitated, gnawing on the pin's cap. I remembered Alyssa, gliding behind the trees, laughing enthusiastically from the shadows. After all, she was the one who stopped the colossus of a monster that wanders the forest in the night from tearing me into bits. I mentioned a masked girl to Romka and Byasha before. They just gave me weird looks. I wonder what she's up to right now. Your best friend. I read the question out loud. It was easy, but at the same time, very important. My answer consisted of 3 letters, and I filled them in the cells with care. You. Okay, so he lied, because he didn't want to say Alyssa or the masked girl, I suppose? You, I repeated when running out of school. Refreshing frosty air made my cheeks turn beet red. It was bright outside, and the sun looked like a whole egg yolk. The road looked as if it was silver. The snow sparkled under the sunlight. I smiled, squinting from the blinding whiteness. There was also something magical in my chest that beckoned me, because my friendship can grow into something bigger. What's with the happy face, Tosha? I swallowed my smile and turned red.
Анекдот вспомнил.
I just remembered a joke. Byasha was shuffling his feet in the middle of the yard, his boots restless on the ice.
Ну, делись тогда на.
Share it with me, eh? I rummaged through my memory and blurted out a random joke I'd heard today in the cafeteria.
Кощей вышел на крыльцо почесать себе сундук, зайца, утку и яйцо.
Why did the chewing gum cross the road? It was stuck to the chicken's foot. It's proud.
Ясно, Петросян. Ну, идем на.
Let's go, eh? He walked towards the school's corner without waiting for me. I hesitantly tagged along. Where are we going? You'll see, eh?
Мы теперь в одной связке и действуем заодно.
We're now in one pack, so we move together.
Помощь твоя нужна в кое-каком дельце.
You'll need to help us with some small business. I felt chills run all over my body. I didn't like the sound of that small business. Those words, accompanied by spitting, normally hid very dark deeds underneath them. Strangers that used to call our old apartment used to say, "Get your old man, we have a small business to discuss." Byasha turned around. He looked like an astronaut in his tight hood. If I were to imagine him as a sound, he'd be a deafening whistle, a signal given by someone who stands watch. My knees started shaking as soon as I thought I was about to be dragged into something shady. Images flashed before my eyes. Tikhonov's strict gaze as he shuts the prison cell door on me. My father hitting the bars in anger. Mom and Alya crying nearby. To my demise, there was nobody at the backyard, apart from the grim-faced Romka. He stood there, his feet wide apart, with his right hand hidden behind his back. He must be holding a knife, the steel butterfly of death that flies toward a person's heartbeat. Romka's dry lips were tightly pursed. He kept shooting glances at me as he looked around. What's going on? It was as if Romka read and announced my thoughts.
Что происходит?
What's going on?
Ничего, проветриваемся на.
Nothing much. We're out for a walk, eh? Byasha's voice sounded nasty, snarky.
Проветривайся в другом месте.
Walk some other way.
А мне и здесь нормально. Да, куколка?
We like it here, right, baby? Baby? Is he talking to me? I was so bewildered, I wasn't able to squeeze out a single sound in reply. I just watched the bizarre scene played out in front of me by my new problematic friends.
Видишь? Ты ее напугал!
Look, you scared her.
А тебе какая забота, говнюк? Вали пока цел на.
Why do you care, shithead? Fuck off while you still can, eh? I was trying to digest what I just heard. Did Byasha really call Romka a shithead? Is he out of his mind?
Пацаны,
Guys. Byasha ignored my weak protest and stepped toward Roma, swung at him in a weird, comical manner.
Ха!
Romka blocked the punch with his free hand, keeping his right hand behind his back.
Ha!
Even actors in Indian films that my mom loves fight more convincingly. Byasha makes the weirdest noises. Oh my. Byasha started weeping, even though I hadn't seen Romka hitting him.
Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй, больно как! У меня сотрясение мозга!
It hurts. I have a concussion now. Romka kicked him in the knee, and Byasha fell to the ground, sighing and moaning. I stared at the approaching Romka without blinking. His elbow was twitching and his hand crawled from behind his back. I grew roots into the asphalt. A blade will shine in front of me. Here it comes. Romka yanked his hand from behind his back. My teeth chattered from fear. What is happening? A bouquet of snowdrops that appeared out of nowhere in this freezing weather swayed in front of my face. What's this, flowers?
Позволь проводить тебя.
Let me escort
А
you.
то, сама знаешь, шастают тут всякие маньяки.
You know, there are all sorts of creeps snooping around here.
Ну, Атёна, бедным маньякам уже и посастать нельзя.
What's wrong with innocent creeps doing a bit of snooping about, eh?
Эх, хреновый из тебя маньяк, Бяшка. Даже Тоха не повелся.
You make for a shitty creep, Byasha. Even Tosha here was not phased.
А она нас в 2 счета раскусит.
She'll definitely see through our act. Words finally returned
Она?
to me.
Кто она? Что тут творится?
She? Who is she? What's going on here? Romka snorted, blowing snowflakes off the flowers.
Да, маленькая репетиция, братан.
A small rehearsal, bro.
Хотели на твою реакцию посмотреть.
Wanted to see your reaction. Byasha stood up and brushed himself off.
Ромыч в тёлку одну втюрился.
Romka here is head over heels for a chick. Uh-oh.
Он откуда-то цветы нарыл на.
Even dug up these flowers from somewhere, eh?
Пасть заткни!
Shut your trap.
Я так, планируем.
I'm just
подкатить
planning a little
слегка.
pickup.
Разыграть представление, а то она неприступная, мать её за ногу.
Like staging a performance for her. She's so damn unapproachable, you see?
Типа гуляет девочка себе, а к ней докапывается такое вот говно.
She'll be just walking outside and then a shithead like him starts bothering her. Byasha grumbled, upset.
Сам-то говно!
I'm not a shithead.
Ну и я такой ее раз и спасаю.
And here's where I come in and bam, save her.
Но чё-то Бяш совсем бездарный актер.
But Byasha turned out to be a shit actor.
Давай-ка ты маньяком будешь.
How about you become the creep? No! Oh no! Okay, but we actually like her. I have to save right here. I have to. Oh no.
Я?
Me?
Ну а чё?
Yeah, you.
Как по телеку показывали, маньяки вообще всегда тихие, скромные люди.
I saw it on TV. Serial killers are always these silent, shy types.
Вот прям как ты.
Just like you.
А благодаря Катькиным сплетням,
And thanks to Katya's gossip, the whole school thinks you were the one that offed Baburin.
давай, соглашайся.
Come on,
Тох.
Tosha. I felt relieved. Nothing criminal, just a scene for a girl.
А что делать-то надо?
What do I need to do?
Ты же видел Бяшины кривление?
You saw Byasha's antics, no?
Тип, идешь ко мне, борзый такой, можешь разок в печень заехать,
Come at me all brave. You could even punch me in the stomach.
а я тебя тип херак и в сугроб.
And I'm like, ha! And you fly into the snow pile.
Ну, давайте попробуем.
Well, let's give it a try. Roma livened up.
Отлично.
Nice.
Бяша, меняешь пол, ты теперь тёлочка.
Byasha, change of plans. You're a little girly now.
Гуляй.
The walk. Byasha started dragging his feet along the schoolyard,
Я
grimacing.
тёлочка красивая, тёлочка, я гуляю, ла-ла-ла.
Okay, I think Byasha is my new favorite character. I'm a girly, a pretty girly. I'm on a walk.
Тоха, действуй.
Your move, Tosha. I went toward Romka, fighting an urge to smile. He hid his hand again and put on a stern expression, a 5-star actor.
Она моя!
She's mine.
Рискни.
Let me see you try. And I tried. Threw a punch in the direction of my friend. My knuckles barely grazed his leather coat, and Romka suddenly fell. Not from my laughable poke, of course, but because he slipped on ice. He plopped on his back with his full weight, without a chance to get his hand out of the way. Petals from the squashed flowers were left on the snow. I rushed to help.
Ой, бля, да погоди ты, не дергай.
Fuck, wait, don't pull.
Не сломал?
Did you break anything? Roma was carefully working his
Да
wrist.
не, ушиб вроде.
No, probably just a bruise.
Лед приложить нужно на.
You should put some ice against it, eh?
Тебя, мудака, приложить нужно.
I'd rather put your moronic head against the wall
Об стенку
and
башку.
smack it as hard as I can. Romka was already laughing as he got up and gathered the flowers.
Да, если я так при подруге навернусь, можно будет про нее забыть.
Well, if I go flying in front of that chick, I might as well forget about her.
Давай еще раз отрепетируем.
Let's give it another go. Roma shook his head.
Вечером, как рука пройдет.
In the evening when my hand gets better.
Не хочу опозориться перед
I don't want to
первой
fuck up in
скрипкой
front of the
школы.
school's first violin. All right. I stumbled mid-word. A switch was in my head. It all made sense now. I remembered Romka constantly sneaking glances at Polina. I remembered his scrawly handwriting in the questionnaire. Why didn't I study it more in depth? I felt like somebody hit me over the head with a giant hammer, making me sink into the ground. Polina, she was the main character of this play directed by Romka, and I landed the role of the third wheel. I mumbled hesitantly. All right.
Вот это я понимаю, команда Вольтрона.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Just like Voltron's team.
Один за всех,
One for all.
И все на одного!
And all for one.
захлопни.
Shut it.
Если вдруг тебе понадобится помощь, Антоха, можешь рассчитывать на меня.
You ever need help, Antosha, you can count on me.
А теперь бывай.
See ya.
Вечером мы к тебе заглянем.
We'll visit you in the evening. Oh boy, that's gonna be a problem. So I thought that he was still gonna punch us because Katia was gonna say, oh, they were talking to Polina, but I guess Katia really didn't see us talking to her. She just lied the first time. The aftertaste of horrible water I drank down my meds with lingered in my mouth. My thoughts were focused on Polina, but the play where I was assigned the role of a villain was also on my mind. I love this part. Alia is so cute. I wandered around the house feeling intoxicated and nodded to everything my sister said without trying to discern her words. Alia was talking nonstop, at times lifting up her arms and laughing, only to then suddenly go quiet and give me Mom's signature gnarly look. I was yanked out of the prison of my own mind, where seething thoughts pecked at my brain like harpies, stopping me from coming back to reality. I stared back. Alia looked like a mini version of our mom right now. Well, to be precise, she looked like the person Mom turned into when we moved here, with her intimidating posture and her eyebrows directed toward the
Ты
ceiling.
меня не слушал, так?
You weren't listening to me, were you? She tried spitting out those words at me, copying facial expressions of the person she spent almost all her free time with. For a moment, I felt like the light Alia exuded all those years waned and wavered in the wind of prolonged changes. Very soon, my beautiful princess would turn into the dragon that was once guarding her prison tower. That thought was much scarier to me than any other horror sneaking up to me from the future.
Оля, прости,
Sorry, Alia.
ты же не сердишься, правда?
I didn't want to make you mad, I just got lost in thought. I looked around the room, my gaze jumped from one object to another like a hungry beast trying to find anything that could distract
А
Alia.
давай в приставку поиграем.
Let's play the console. Alia pouted, but there was a spark of interest in her small emerald eyes. The Snow Queen's eyes shard inside them started thawing.
А как же второй джойстик? Не работает же.
What about the second controller? It's not working.
А папе починить
And Dad has no time to fix it.
Можем из пистолета
We can
пострелять.
play with the light gun.
Ковбоев или уток? Хочешь?
What do you want to play? Cowboys? Ducks? You're better than me at both.
Да ладно тебе.
Ah, come
Вадя целый
on.
день тренировалась,
You must have
пока
been
меня дома
practicing
не
the whole
было.
time I was away from home. Alia burst out laughing. Her heart was warm once again.
А как ты догадался?
How did you know?
Я сейчас знаешь, какая меткая. Считай, уже проиграл.
But I'm a good shooter now. You've already lost.
Не на того напала. Включай скорее.
You picked the wrong fight here. Come on, turn it on. I wonder if we're going to put the camera in here too. I hid Simon's signet ring in my desk drawer. I was still unsure whether I did the right thing by stealing a crucial piece of evidence from the police. Then I relocated to my sister's room. No, he didn't put the camera in there. Little Alia jumped toward the TV set, and after flickering the power switch, started blindingly feeling around the back of the side of the photon, trying to plug the console's cable into the antenna input. Bits of TV shows started flashing on the CRT screen, and when I armed myself with the remote to look for the channel with the sought-after Dindy signal. Hey, that was Home Alone.
Что дома интересного происходило?
Did anything interesting happen at home? It was a mundane question for me. I didn't put any actual meaning behind it. But Alia's expression suddenly changed. She lost all of the childish nonchalantness she worked so hard to acquire before.
Оль, что-то случилось?
What happened, Alia? My sister managed to put the cable in its place and started brushing off her dust-covered hand. She was clearly looking for the courage to continue the conversation.
Мама.
Mom, she... Alia went silent, and for a moment I thought I saw tears welling up in her eyes.
У нее опять был этот страшный.
She had this scary thing happen to her again? My sister looked at me with wet eyes.
Приступ.
She had a fit, huh? This had happened before, but it was a rare occasion. Now that we'd moved to this godforsaken place, Mom's fit rose in frequency.
Папа принес большую рыбу.
Dad brought home a big fish.
В
It was
газету
wrapped in a
показывали
newspaper and had a foul smell.
А мама опять начала злиться. Потом взяла нож.
Mom got angry again and took out a knife. Alya squirmed, looking fearfully out the window.
Начали громко ругаться.
They started screaming at each other. I froze, imagining my little sister so small and unnoticeable, standing in the kitchen doorway. She wasn't even trying to hide. Our parents just paid her no mind at all.
Потом мама ударила.
And then Mom struck it.
Вот так.
Like this. Alya slightly moved her fist downward, imitating a strike.
Рыбу.
She hit the fish.
Она была живая тоже. Ей было больно. А мама...
It was still alive, Tosha. It must have been in pain. And Mom... It was easy to imagine what happened next. The writhing fish with the blade between its fins squirted some foul-smelling musk into Mom's face. Whenever death got this close to my mom, be it when a person was hit by a bus in front of us and there was blood smeared all over the windshield, or when Grandma chopped off a chicken's head, Mom would always get into a weird, dreadful fit. Her eyes would roll over. She would fall on her face like a freshly cut tree and start wreathing just like that agonizing fish, turning over chairs and blurting out bits of scary sentences.
Папа, он ей помог?
What about Dad? Did he help her? Alya shuddered, as if remembering it pained her.
Но вначале
Yes, but at first,
он засмеялся тоже.
he started laughing, Tosha.
Страшно. Как ты увидела, что маме плохо?
He let out an evil laugh when he saw that Mom was in trouble.
Потом вдруг заплакал.
But then he cried. Alya's story made me raise an eyebrow. It seemed like the forest, oozing madness had not only completely consumed our mom, but also infected our strong and courageous dad. I quickly stepped toward Alya and locked her in a tight embrace. She dug her face into my chest, and I could feel my shirt becoming wet.
Зачем они так издеваются друг над другом тоже?
Why are they bullying each other, Tosha?
Они сумасшедшие.
Are they crazy? I stuttered, unable to justify the actions of our parents. I had run out of words, and all I could do was hug Alya even tighter. Alya screamed and hid behind me.
Переключи скорей!
Turn it off quick! No matter how many times she saw this intro, she would always react the same, just like when she saw that owl. I mean, I also got goosebumps every time this ghastly face appeared on the screen, so I immediately complied with my sister's request. Time to play. Finally, the game selection screen showed up for the cartridge that was bundled with the console. Too bad most of the names here were just different levels of the same game. I picked up the gray rectangular controller and started looking around the pixel letters to find the familiar English word for duck. Background music from the menu soothed Alya's mind, and she asked in a calm voice,
А как твои дела в школе?
"How are things at school?"
Да вот, завел пару друзей.
I made a couple of friends, I guess.
Ого, целых двух.
Wow,
Везет.
a whole 2 of them? Lucky.
А ты говоришь, лисичку увидела?
Right. Didn't you say you saw a fox?
Ага, ее зовут Алиса.
Yeah, her name was Alyssa. I immediately felt uneasy when my new acquaintance was mentioned.
Откуда ты знаешь? Она так сказала.
How did you know? Did she tell you?
Да, когда с мамой мусор ходили выбрасывать. А еще говорила, что спасла тебя.
Yes, when Mom and I were throwing out garbage. She also said that she saved you.
Спасла?
Saved me? I remembered my fight with the delinquents in the forest and that mysterious whisper from the thicket. I remembered the fleeing Simon and the horned giant towering above me with its outstretched hand. All that time, I could feel Alyssa's unseen presence, as if she was watching from behind the crooked trees. A smile stuck to her ginger mask. I shuddered, chasing away this delusion.
А еще она что-нибудь говорила?
Did she say anything else?
Нет,
Nah.
мама так быстро вернулась. Я ее хотела с лисичкой познакомить, а та уже убежала.
Mom came back so fast, I wanted to introduce them, but the fox had already ran off.
Ты ее не боишься?
Aren't you afraid of her?
А почему я должна бояться? Алиса добрая, такая пушистая и красивая.
Why would I? Alyssa is kind. She's so fluffy and pretty.
Не то что сова.
Unlike that owl. I plugged the light gun into the second controller port, listening to my sister's laughs.
Юля первая!
I go first. I honestly really have fun playing this. Player 2, get ready. $3,500, not bad.
Я тебе поддалась.
I was going easy on you here. Man, we're only beating her by 500 points. We gotta step up our game. Oh, well, that's not stepping up our game. Oh, that should have got it. Oh my gosh, she won. Man, we were off to a good start.
Кто на новенького?
We were off to such a good start. Ha! Who wants some more? Final round. I'm not good at hitting. I can't hit a single bird on this round. They are just too fast. This round is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Well, at least I got one.
Пап, ой-ой-ой, умирает зайчик мой. Ты проиграл, Тоша.
Bang, bang, and they're dead. You've lost, Tosha.
Антон! Антон!
My mom only managed to get through to me on her third attempt.
Антон, тебя к телефону.
Anton, there's a call for you.
Какая-то.
It's a girl. I sobered up in an instant and rushed to the hallway.
Не споткнись, смотри.
Watch your step. I grabbed the phone, pressed it to my chest, looking at my mom. She shrugged and went into the room, gathering the toys thrown around by Alia as she went.
Алло?
Hello?
У твоей мамы такой молодой голос.
Your mom has such a nice young voice.
Ну да. Она сама молодая.
Well, yeah. I mean, she is young.
Не мешаю?
Are you busy right now?
Нет, что ты.
No, of course not. If only she knew how costly this conversation could be for me, what risks I took on just answering this call. There were a pen and a shabby notepad lying on the nightstand. I picked them up and started moving the tip of the pen across paper, producing chaotic doodles that always ended up turning into hearts.
Я прочла твои ответы.
I've read your answers.
Действительно, Кармен нравится.
Do you really like Carman?
Мне, если по правде, русский рок больше нравится.
I like Russian rock more, to be
Но
honest.
я почему-то
But I
постеснялся
was too
это
embarrassed to put it there
написать.
for some reason.
А хочешь, Антоша, и я честной буду?
And do you want me to be honest with you too, Antosha?
Конечно.
Of course. My pen drew an outline of a girl's face, her eyes, her long eyelashes. Polina spoke in a hushed voice, probably to keep her grandpa from hearing.
Здесь ужасно тоскливо.
I'm bored to death here.
Дома?
At home?
В поселке.
In the village.
Здесь никогда ничего не происходит. А если происходит, то всякая гадость.
There's nothing going on here. And if there is, it's always something nasty.
Дело даже не в пропавших детях.
And it's not even about the missing kids. There's almost no music
У
here.
тебя же кассеты есть.
Don't you have your
Я не
cassettes?
про записи.
I'm not talking about audio
Я
records.
про... Ну, голос этого места.
I mean this place's voice.
Он не мелодичный. Все шуршит, как патефонная игла, скрипит, воет и...
It's not melodic at all. It's rustling like a record player needle. It just squeaks and moans from time to time.
Тут неуютно. Тесно очень.
It feels uncomfortable, suffocating.
Не знаю, как объяснить тебе.
I don't know how else to explain it. My pin's tip drafted a house surrounded by tall
Кажется, я
trees.
тебя понимаю.
I think I know what you
Моя
mean.
сестренка говорит, что чувствует себя заточенной
My
в
little
темнице.
sister says she feels like a prisoner here.
Вот и я. Я очень люблю дедушку.
Me too, but I love Grandpa. I don't want to abandon him.
Порой так хочется убежать.
Sometimes I just want to escape so badly, somewhere very far away. Into the forest, I thought half-heartedly, to run under the falling snowflakes that make your fur white and the branches that hide you from prying eyes.
Я, когда рисую, будто путешествую.
When I draw, I feel transported to another place.
У меня так же со скрипкой.
It's the same for me and the violin.
Убегаю по смычку в небо.
I ran up the bow straight to the sky. I realized I was drawing a butterfly knife. I crossed it over. Thinking of Romka ruined my mood. Should I tell her? Should I warn her about his plans to seduce her? I could throw a wrench into those plans, but what about our Voltron team? They may not be my best friends, but we're still buddies. Who would I become if I betrayed them? No. No, it's really gonna make me choose? What do I do? Oh no. Oh no. Oh. I don't know what to do. I feel like we've already chosen Polina, so should we do Romka? I think I need to go Romka because this isn't Polina's storyline, it's Alyssa's. So why are we pining after Polina if we're doing Alyssa's storyline? Yes, Romka did act horrible from time to time. He was unfair toward others and manipulated the weak. But something told me that friendship wasn't just a word to him. Oh, I got an achievement for that. Team Voltron. Magma is coursing through your veins. You desire infinite fusion. Didn't I wish to make friends in this new place? Even though they were as monstrous as the ancient forest scenery outside my window, I lifted my glasses, rubbed my eyes.
Поскорей бы уже повзрослеть.
I wish I could grow up faster.
Думаешь, будет проще?
Do you think it'll make life easier? The doorbell rang before I could reply. My wandering gaze stumbled upon the door. Romka and Byasha came to pick me up for the rehearsal, and I was supposed to help them lure away the girl I like.
Полин, подожди минутку.
Polina, wait a moment. I made a couple of steps and pressed myself into the door. Oh. The light bulb hanging on the outside illuminated the porch, and I could discern two short silhouettes through the frozen peephole. Look what the cat dragged in.
Подождите, я сейчас!
Please wait, I'll be out in a moment. I returned to the phone and picked up the handset.
Мне надо бежать.
I need to run.
Мне тоже.
Me too.
Спасибо, что выслушал.
Thanks for lending an ear. My ear vibrated from the buzzing sounds. I lowered the handset on the phone and snuck a peek at the staircase. My mom, engrossed in her favorite TV show, didn't hear the ringer. I put on my shoes and hat without warning anyone and slipped into the dark winter evening. I blinked, getting used to the twilight. The wind plucked at my cheeks. It carried the cold, resonant smell of coniferous trees from the forest. Freezing air crackled somewhere in the fields. Two shadows loomed in front of the gate. I could only recognize them as my classmates because of their height. I walked toward the fence, listening to the howling wind and the squeaking snow. One of the figures moved and slowly glided toward the thicket like an ice skater. I slowed down and touched my glasses, trying in vain to adjust my vision to the surrounding darkness. Worry landed on my shoulders like a weightless snowflake. A snake woke up in my belly and started wreathing. I felt nauseous. I thought about home, the flimsy fortress behind my back. Mom and Alia were sitting on the second floor of the warm house in front of the TV, watching the adventures of characters in Santa Barbara. I really didn't want to be a part of Romka's plan. And what I wanted even less was going there, to the place where a double shadow was wavering in the wind.
Ну что, застрял на.
Why so slow, eh?
Мы тут замерзли совсем.
We're freezing here. Byasha's voice was trembling, and the restless Romka was letting out clouds of steam. He looked deep in thought and in love.
До костей продрогли.
We're freezing to the bone, eh?
Шевелись!
Move it!
Да иду.
I'm going. I heaved a deep sigh and walked forward, kicking snow piles. Byasha froze in place, facing the Tega. He was a hand's reach away, and I put my numb wrist on his shoulder for some reason, probably to make sure it wasn't a dream. Oh no. Oh no, it's not them. I should have known. A pointy beak was directed at me. strewn with feathers that formed an owl face. Something wearing a bird mask was staring at me.
До самых косточек.
To the bone. The voice sounded exactly like Byasha's, but there was something else hiding behind the feathers and the cardboard. I sprinted away, as if somebody whipped me. The masked creature only pretended to be Byasha. They wanted to lure me out. I was running like crazy, drowning in snow. The house in front of me was rapidly growing. The yellow light in its windows granted me hope. My mom and sister are there, my salvation. I couldn't hear anything from behind me, as if nobody was chasing me. Maybe it's because owls can fly? I was already climbing the porch when I noticed another figure. From the soot black shadow of my house, a scruffy wolf cub crawled out and stood in my way. Its movements were jerky, chaotic, as if it was performing some terrifying dance, or convulsing during a stroke. And even though I could clearly see that the wolf face was a mask, something in this werewolf's convulsions made me freeze in place. The boy in a wolf's costume rubbed his side against the porch post and fell to his knees. He bent his head so hard that I expected his spine to crack. The beast's eyes shone, but he didn't attack. He kept crawling around and running on all fours. I shifted my feet, my mouth agape, trying to keep him in line of sight. Something was trickling from the slit in the mask. Vicious drops fell to the wooden planks. Saliva. Some unknown voice pushed me in the back, whispering me to save myself. The fence was flashing by the edge of my vision. I was running in another direction this time, toward the toothy edge of the forest that smelled of pine. My heartbeat measured time. The wolf boy growled behind my back, as if he forgot his human nature. My right leg got stuck in the snow-laden cavity. I yanked it out, cursing under my breath, and fell to the ground. Plastering snow prevented me from standing up, from propping myself against anything. But my unbound thirst for life helped me get out of the trap. Darkness was creeping closer, like the toxic fumes of burial pyres. I ran again, gasping for air that stung my throat. My hair swayed in the wind. I lost my hat when I fell down, and my ears were now hot from the freezing cold, while most of my body was still sweaty. The field finally ended. After realizing that running into the forest wasn't the smartest decision I could make, I dove into the line of trees. I ran without stopping, my face covered with one of my palms. I didn't want to lose an eye to some random branch. Branches whipped my clothes, pricked my skin like butchers that were herding a pig into the grinder. A knot of roots sprouting from the ground grabbed at my foot. I rammed into the scratchy trunk, slid down to its base, and looked around in a panic.
Ух, какой ты быстрый!
Phew, you're so fast. My first desire was to dash toward her and hug her. I resisted it and squeezed myself even tighter into the pine.
Что ты здесь делаешь?
You, what are you doing here?
Да вот,
This and that. She was holding the hat I lost.
беру находок, подрабатываю.
Working part-time and lost and found.
Надевай, а то
Put it
лучше
on or your ears will freeze and maybe even fall off soon. She giggled. I squinted in suspicion and shifted my gaze back and forth between her and the hat, scared that Alyssa might be holding a severed head or something even more sinister. But in the end, my hat turned out to just be my hat. I took it and pulled it over my forehead.
Тепло.
Feeling warmer? I didn't reply.
Там во дворе были какие-то дети.
There were some children in the yard.
И что?
And
Покусали
did
тебя,
they
что
bite
ли?
you or something?
Нет.
No.
А чего же ты убежал?
Then why did you run away? The answer was obvious, but after rolling the thought on my tongue, I mumbled.
Не знаю.
I don't know.
Эх, обещала не обзывать тебя дурачком.
Why did I promise to never call you a dunce
А
again?
я обещание.
Oh well, I keep my promises. She walked up to me and grabbed me by the elbow. I sensed the familiar aroma of mint, oranges, and burnt sparklers. I wanted to lean into Alice to savor the minute details of her smell.
Сколько можно повторять? Со мной ты в безопасности.
How many times do I need to tell you? You're safe as long as you're with me.
Я твой друг.
I'm your friend.
И они.
And they are too. I quickly turned around toward the place the fox girl was pointing to. Kids en masse appeared at the clearing. At least they looked like kids since they were all pretty short. A wolf boy, an owl girl, and a bear boy. They all huffed and gasped for air, clearly tired from running around.
Я думала, ты в снег провалился.
I thought you fell through the snow.
Стало
Started digging around but couldn't find you.
А я не копал. Лень копать было.
And I didn't care enough.
А ну как
You see, if you're dumb, you run around and dig.
Если умный,
And if you're smart, you wait until others get tired of running around and digging.
тогда
Then you
заводят.
start talking.
Как я рад!
You're a rat.
Дегенерат!
Degenerate.
А?
Не обращай внимания, он со странностями.
Don't mind him, he's a weirdo. I stood there stupefied, my mouth agape and my hands dangling helplessly. I had no idea how to react to the words of these late-night guests, but I managed to squeeze out something resembling a smile.
Вы просто меня напугали.
You scared me, that's all. They started looking at each other, and somebody even snorted, as if I said something funny.
Лиса права!
Yes, the fox is right.
Это он.
He's the one.
Нет, это наш.
No, this is ours.
Неужели нашли?
Have we finally found him?
Наш зайчик.
Our bunny.
Да, похож.
Yes, he looks the part. The wolf boy started wagging a part of his costume like it was his tail in excitement. First.
Ну, конечно, ты первый.
Of course you were first.
Волчик раньше
Wolfie here
всех
was the first to
почуял
sense the
зайчика
bunny
в
in
тебе.
you. He
Я
told us
рассказала.
all about you.
Здравствуй.
Hello.
С нашей совушкой ты знаком не понаслышке. Не такая уж она и страшная,
And
правда?
you've met our Hootie before. She isn't that scary, is she?
Да, наверное.
I guess.
А этот улыбчивый бугай — медвежутка.
And that smiling big guy is Teddy.
С ним поласкай.
Be mindful with him or he'll chew off your head.
Зачем это?
What?
Да, смотрю, ты чувство юмора где-то обронил.
I see you've dropped your sense of humor somewhere on the way here. I was still unsure if these peculiar little animals had the best intentions in mind, so I hid my hands behind my back, trying to look away from the gaping holes of their carnival masks. Alyssa put her hands to her sides in a theatrical manner, and someone managed to wink with their fox face.
Когда в следующий раз придем, будем звенеть в колокольчики, чтобы ты не
The
так
next time we
боялся
come, we'll
нашего
ring bells
визита.
for you. That way you'll be less scared of our visit.
А у нас разве есть колокольчики?
Do we have any bells?
Чур, я звенеть
I won't be
не
ringing.
умела.
My paw hurts. My smile was no longer fake.
О, зубы показал. Это добрый знак.
Ah, you showed us your teeth. That's a good sign.
Не ожидала, что сможем
I didn't
тебя
expect you to
рассмешить.
find us fun.
Я думала,
I thought it was
это
an
под
emotion
силу
reserved
только
strictly to
Диснею.
Disneyland.
Откуда ты знаешь?
How do you know that?
Да так, прочитала кое-где.
I read about it. Somewhere.
Про меня?
You read about me?
Про клюв от воробья. Про Диснейленд яхонтовый.
Aren't you funny? No, about Disneyland, darling.
Ты умеешь читать по-человечески?
You can read, human?
Зря я, что ли, в школу хожу.
Do you think I've been going to school every day for nothing? And then she sang in a coquettish voice.
Как детей не замечать, как мечты их развенчать. Учат в школе, учат в школе, учат в школе. Крепко-накрепко вломить, с детства слабеньких чморить. Учат в школе, учат в школе, учат в школе.
I let out a cautious laugh. My new acquaintances didn't seem scary anymore. On the contrary, they looked friendly and welcoming. There was something about them that attracted me. Just like this clearing, this moon, and the snowflakes that fell backwards from the ground to the sky, as if someone was rewinding a tape. The masked kids got close, and I felt their touch. They gave me friendly taps, felt my clothes as if checking whether I was real. There was no animalistic malice in their touch, only pure childish curiosity. For some reason, I thought to myself, I can trust them. Snowflakes just kept on floating upwards.
Никто тебя больше не обидит.
No one will hurt you anymore. Friend.
Пусть только
Yeah, if somebody
попробуй.
even tries to. The fox gave me a slight tug and burst out laughing.
Тоша, убежишь с воплями или с нами пойдешь?
Well then, Tosha, will you run away screaming or come with us?
Да.
Where to?
На аттракционы!
To the amusement park. At that moment, Tega's deceptive silence was broken by the sound of a distant flute. Mesmerizing and alluring, it brought about the ring of crystal glass and the whispers of a fresh winter spring. The flute really is so peaceful. If I had doubts before, the flute song shattered the last of them. I started following my new friends before I could even make my decision. My legs carried me on their own will, and the tunnels made of pine stepped apart. Bushes bowed in front of our procession. Everything looked dreamlike. Because even the clearing we ended up on, I only saw in my dream. The flute soared up in the treetops like some fantastical bird. The snowflakes floated up in a spiral. The moon painted the tree branches with silver. Alyssa gasped in amazement. I was also in awe. I tilted my head backwards as far as I could.
Красиво.
What a sight!
Очень красиво.
It's so beautiful! Wolfie howled in agreement.
Мелочи.
This is nothing.
Я покажу
I can show you
гораздо
much more
больше, если захочешь.
if you want. I did want. I wanted to see what the fox girl saw with her eyes, hidden in the semi-dark of her cape. Now I didn't feel weird about these masked kids. I felt weird for being the only one without one. I felt like I was naked in the January wind.
Скажите, а зачем вам маски?
Why do you wear masks? I was trembling, but I wasn't scared. Our trembling wasn't caused by the cold. It originated from the peculiar anxiousness, the anticipation of something amazing.
Тебе зачем?
And why do you ask? I touched my
Я
cold
без
cheek.
маски.
I'm not wearing one.
Обожаю человеческие сказки.
I love human tales.
Человек.
Human nails? Human fails?
Я же говорила.
I've already told you.
Все жители
All
поселка
villagers wear
носят
masks.
только скрываются
It's just
за
you
ними.
won't find anything human underneath
И
them.
даже я?
Even me?
Ты такой рассеянный, Антон.
You're so clumsy, Anton.
Однажды мы уже нашли твои очки.
We've already found your glasses once already.
И шапку.
And your hat.
И твое настоящее лицо.
And your real face. I looked at the mask the fox was holding out to me. The bunny mask looked like a silver ingot under the moonlight. I was curious to see the world through its slits. Yeah, it doesn't give us the option to reject. Suddenly, fighting its way through the flute's melody, a thought came to me. The glasses they found were in Simon's possession. My new acquaintances must have known what happened to him. Or even worse.
А куда подевался Семён? Что с ним стало?
And where did Simon disappear to? What
И
happened
с
to him?
остальными детьми?
And the other children? The bear and the owl looked at each other. The wolf boy curled into a ball, and the fox lowered the pointy nose of her mask.
Кого держали в клетке?
The one who was kept in a cage.
Тот, кто режет мелко-мелко.
The one who cuts into little pieces.
Тот, кто носит кожаное лицо.
The
Забрал.
one who wears the skin face took them.
Умел бы я креститься, перекрестился бы.
If I knew how to cross myself, I'd do it.
Хотите сказать, это был человек?
So you're saying it was a human?
Чем ты только слушал?
Were you even listening to us?
Разве можно назвать
How can you
такого,
call
как
someone
он?
like him human?
Одно слово. Взрослый.
There's just one word for it. An adult.
В мире взрослых так легко
It's easy to get lost in the adult world.
Убийцы, жестокие дрессировщики и равнодушные родители.
Killers, cruel animal trainers, and cold parents.
Лучше об этом вовсе не думать.
If you don't want to get sad, better not think about them.
Не знаю, как вам, а мне печалиться совсем не хочется.
I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want to be sad.
И я сегодня какой-то негрустный.
Somehow, I'm also not sad today.
Антон,
What about you, Anton?
Huh?
I was lost in thought, staring at the pines, trying to pinpoint the location of the flute. I was sure that the person who played it was standing right behind the piney stockade. Someone tall, going over the holes in the flute with their long fingers.
так что, сядем тосковать или займемся отдыхом?
What now? Are we gonna sit and be sad or have some fun?
Алиса хотела что-то показать.
Alyssa wanted to show me something.
Давай начнем с самой сладкой части программы.
Let's start with the sweet stuff. The fox girl took out a handful of candy from her pocket and handed them to each of the kids. Covers shuffled, the smell of pineapple, cocoa, and melon wafted through the air. The last treat, a chocolate-covered waffle candy, Alyssa put right in my mouth. My tongue was engulfed in spiciness. I felt like my body was covered in fur and small sparks were running along it. I chewed on the waffle and the chocolate, gulped them down, enjoying the vivid taste.
Спасибо.
Thanks. My gratitude was barely audible because my lips were already touching the insides of a mask. I didn't even notice how I put it against my face. The papier-mâché was warm. The mask stuck to my skin, giving it a nice prickle. The kind when you dive into a hot bath after being outside in winter. When you lie there and purr from the soapy water.
Говорила же, это твое!
See, I told you. This is yours.
Моё.
Mine?
Чего стоим? За нас веселиться никто не будет.
What are you waiting for? The fun won't have itself.
И то верно.
You're right. The melody kept swirling in the field like a hurricane. I couldn't wait to release the energy, the heat that this enchanting music was filling me with. The owl jumped and disappeared into the sky. I heard her laughter from somewhere above, and then she landed back, huffing and sighing.
И ты так можешь. Попробуй.
You can do it too. Give it a try. I followed suit. My feet tore off from the ground. I flew toward the stars like a rocket and screamed from happiness after seeing my friends down below. The wind helped me fly. It felt like I was jumping on a huge trampoline. The stars looked like vivid sparkles that I could reach and lick. The moon also got closer, and then I plunged. I got scared that I'd break my legs for a moment, but my soles landed softly on the ground and I regained my balance.
С нами ты в безопасности!
You're safe with us.
И все твои мечты станут явью!
And all your dreams will come true.
Я так счастлива,
I'm so happy I finally found you.
Зайчик!
Bunny. In a fit of merry laughter, I realized the most important thing. These four are not a threat. My real enemies and I felt that with every single hair on my mask were those who knew nothing about magic. Humans from the village. I also noticed how alive my surrounding had become. I heard the dry grass under the snow moan. I saw faces of the trees and the stars. The trees were smirking and the stars were grimacing in fear. That's right, be scared. I'll jump up to you and I snapped my teeth, then let out a jubilant laugh, jumping up along with the fox. We flew higher than the tallest pines and stayed in the air. I swirled. Alyssa followed my rhythm. I knew that she was smiling, so I smiled too. And the flute just kept on playing, carrying us higher and higher.
Ты чё, опять в облаках витаешь?
Hey, got your head in the clouds again? Not with you around, I thought, trying to unglue my chin from the desk. My muscles felt slightly sore, but that feeling was pleasant. The whole class was wandering about for some reason, whispering and passing notes to each other. Their faces looked like discolored masks to me, bleak and boring. I yawned, remember the time I was soaring high above the forest with Alyssa by my side, laughing and squeezing my hand. Perhaps no, probably. It was all just a dream, because I didn't walk back from the forest. Just woke up on my bed on a normal morning with tea and medicine. Still, I was hardly worried about trying to find a rational explanation for my night dance. That feeling of flight was much more important. The knowledge of how it feels to be hanging in the air above the treetops of majestic pines and baring my teeth at the moon.
Ну чего?
What do you want?
Чё? Пока ты носом клевал, Катька пропала.
What do I want? While you were nodding off here, Katya went missing. My sleepiness was gone in an instant. I frowned in
Как
suspicion.
пропала? Быть не может.
What do you mean? It can't be. Dun dun dun. That concludes episode 3. Oh my goodness. I'm actually very happy that Romka and Byasha are our friends because we get to hear more about the Black Garage because we got some more insight into things that we didn't know in the other storylines. Also, I'm really excited to help set Romka and Polina up, mostly because we've already went out with Polina. Also, I'm very curious I don't think we're going to be able to see that, but when we did the Polina storyline and we went on a date and she had a complete meltdown because she didn't want us to leave and we left, I wonder how Romka would handle that situation. Like, I wonder if he would take her with him or stay the night or stay there, or if he would have also have been freaked out by her meltdown. I kind of wish it would let us see that, but I also already know that it's not because Romka and Polina are not what the story is about. It's mostly about like Alyssa and her friends and the tractor driver and the kids going missing. It's not like a love story, but man, I would love to be a fly on a wall and kind of watch their date play out if she has the same meltdown she had when she was with Anton. But anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. I am enjoying Alyssa's storyline the most so far out of all the storylines I've played. I hope you guys are enjoying it too, and I hope I see you for my next video. Bye!